That is
Yeah.
funny.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my God.
If you're joining us live, Game One of the NBA Finals has just concluded, um, and the Pacers stole Game One. There's no other way to put it. They led for 0.3 seconds of the game. That's what they led for 0.3 seconds of the game, and ultimately have left with a win. Tyrese Haliburton has made his third game winner of the playoffs. Third? Is it third? Fourth?
Cavs, Knicks. No,
But
I think he has one minimum every series.
is that the first player ever in NBA history to do that? A game winner in every series of a finals run?
I gotta look it up.
It's gotta be, right? First player to ever hit a game winner in every single series. John D, I know it's fresh. The game literally ended maybe 3
Literally,
minutes
like
ago. But this is what we're here for. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on game one?
first thing I want to say is there were people complaining, like, oh, we want to see superstars. We want to see the Lakers. We want to see the Celtics. We want to see the Knicks. Holy shit. I can't even like. First couple of things I want to talk about, because I did take some notes. The Pacers were getting decent looks from three. It was all about just gathering themselves and taking care of the basketball in the first quarter, because I feel as though they had a really tough time setting up their offense in the first quarter. Now, OKC, a lot of those turnovers were just dead ball turnovers. You reset at the half court line, you get your offense back going, you stop them from getting in transition, which you can take that. You don't like the turnovers, but the fact that they're not getting out in transition as much, that's a lot better. As for the Pacers, I thought they were getting some decent looks. I thought Obi Toppin was really bad in the first quarter. I thought Pascal Siakam playing against Casey Wallace was a mismatch they would like to attack more. But eventually they ended up putting Alex Caruso on Pascal Siakam, which nullified that mismatch a little bit more, which is why I thought like maybe Alex Caruso should be matching the minutes that Pascal Siakam plays, just so they don't have anything to take advantage of, because Casey Wallace is a fantastic defender. I don't think he guards forwards and centers like Alex Caruso can. I think Alex Caruso has better hands and a lower body gravity than Casey Wallace. As for the Pacers, man, they cleaned up that second half, those second half turnovers, and they won the game because they were more efficient inside the arc. I think the Thunder were shooting like under 40% inside the arc throughout the game, and the Pacers were 45 to 54, somewhere around that range, if I just take a look real fast. But those turnovers kept the Thunder in the game, and I think they did a really good job on Chet as well, just protecting the rim a lot better, stopping the roll to the basket. He couldn't get much going off the bounce either. But man, Miles Turner in the fourth, that bank step back three, the mid-range shot, Andrew Nembhard with the tween step back on Shea, come on, bro. We're not supposed to be excited about the finals, though. We're not supposed to be excited at all, because who's SGA? Who's Hallie? Who's Nembhard? Who's Miles Turner? Who's Lou Dort? Lou Dort was probably the second best player on the Thunder today. Like, I think he had like 5 threes, 4 steals, like 3 offensive rebounds. Oh my God. If this is going to be the finals, this is going to be one of the greatest finals we've ever seen. This is game one. Like, when I watch fantastic basketball, I get emotional. I get emotional because this is the greatest sport we have ever watched. I don't think there's a sport that touches this. I don't. And then Tyrese Haliburton. It was he keeps doing it, and he keeps knocking down those shots. Indiana won. Indiana, you said it on Twitter, I believe. Only 6 times all season they had 19 turnovers throughout the regular season. They had 19 turnovers in the first half. They had the most turnovers in a single quarter in the playoffs entirely. Like, against this Thunder team, you give up that many turnovers, you should be down 30. The fact that they were able to keep this game afloat, I mean, Obi Toppin wasn't the best, but he was knocking down open shots. Aaron Nesmith hit some timely threes. Andrew Nembhard was being Andrew Nembhard. And then Tyrese Haliburton just seals it. Like, you can't ask for a better game. You can't ask for a better game. Like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I've I said this on Twitter too. I've never seen a team that's as hard to beat as Indiana. I don't think they know that they've lost the game. Like, let them tell it. I think they're 82-0 and they haven't lost a game in the playoffs either. They just refuse to lose games. Um, the comeback was amazing. Um, I'm gonna speak for OKC. I think OKC forced turnovers, which they're good at. OKC created good looks and didn't score them. Chet was terrible,
Yes.
like flat out terrible. There's no excuse for Chet's performance today. He was bad. J Dub did not have it going offensively. No one really outside of Shea did. Lou Dort was good. Lou Dort was amazing, by the way. I think Lou Dort was the second best player in the game. It's funny. I think OKC had the two best players in the game. I think Lou Dort and Shea were the two best players on the court today, and they lost. But I don't sound the alarms if I'm OKC. I'm not like, oh my God, we're going to lose the series. But what I will say is Indiana's transition defense has been elite throughout the playoffs. And it was elite again today. I think their transition, I had it up on King Glass. Here it is. OKC scored 60, had a 69 offensive rating in transition. When you have a 69 offensive rating in transition and you force 20 plus turnovers, there's a reason why you weren't up 30. Because normally when OKC force turnovers, they're getting out, they're running, they're cooking. Today, when OKC forced turnovers, they were either dead ball turnovers, so out of bounds, and you have to play in half court anyway, or Indiana were getting back so fast that the advantage wasn't even there. So Indiana deserve a lot of credit for that, keeping the game in the balance when they were suffering with all of those turnovers. They then cleaned that up in the second half. I actually don't think Tyrese Haliburton played very well. I think defensively he was bad. Offensively, he looked rushed. He looked sped up. But then he started getting to the mid-range in the fourth. And I think it opened up some things for him. And I mean, when he shot that last shot, and I just like, I don't know what it's like. We're watching Tyrese Haliburton have a micro like playoff run in front of our eyes. Like everything is just going to the script. But when he shot it, I knew it was going in. I didn't know how it was going to go in. I didn't know if it was going to bounce 7 times like Kawhi or it was going to go straight through. I knew it was going in. And to have a game where I don't think Haliburton played well, but to still have the confidence to take and make that shot, knowing what's on the line, because we all know, we've seen the graphic. Indiana are some of the biggest underdogs we've seen in a while. On par with like the 04 Pistons against the Lakers, the 86 Rockets against the Celtics. They're in that graphic. They're in that group. Stealing game one. Now, I hope this isn't a Philadelphia versus Lakers moment where you steal game one and then you just get ran off the court for the next 4 games, which it still definitely could be. OKC can play a lot better, but to steal game one, put the pressure on OKC, knowing you've now taken home court advantage in the series. And if you're Indiana, you look at it as, we had an uncharacteristically bad game. We turned the ball over 24 times. We missed a bunch of free throws. And we still came out on top against the best defense in the NBA. That's a sign. That's a sign for optimism. Pascal didn't have a great game. I did like him attacking Case and Wallace early. I think Dagnall did a good job of, altering some of the matchups in that regard. And I also think Kaysen did a better job of matching that physicality with Pascal in the second half. So he wasn't even as much of a mismatch. But Pascal didn't have a great game. Nemhard for a lot of the game didn't have a great game. He came alive in the fourth. Hali didn't have a great game. Obi Toppin started poorly, made a lot of big shots, but overall, I wouldn't say he had a great game. But I do think his shots were very timely. TJ made some big plays, but I think it's just like, is he too small to play in the series? Maybe. Benedict Mathurin, I just think I tried to hesitate when calling young players low IQ. I just think this series might be a bit above Benedict Mathurin's capabilities. So I'm hesitant with Benedict Mathurin, but if I'm Indiana, I'm very optimistic. All the pressure is now on OKC. all of it. And I think if you're Indiana, you take that in stride. And I'm not saying you can throw game 2 against OKC. You need to win every game. That's what you need. Indiana needs to sweep OKC, as far as I'm concerned. But taking game 1 was huge, and I said it on the panel all week. All week I said, if this is going to be a series, Indiana need to take game 1. They need to take game 1. I hope they take game 1 because I want this to be a good series. And to take game 1 in that fashion, I don't think OKC are this mentally fragile team. But there is something to be said about leading a game for 47 minutes, 59.7 seconds. I'm sorry, there's something to be said about leading a game for that long and ultimately losing it. I will be interested to see how OKC bounce back. I'm not here to say, oh, all these adjustments need to happen, and if OKC want to win the series, they have to do this, this, and this. Quite frankly, I think OKC can go out there with a very similar game plan, and they could blow the doors off Indiana in game 2. I think Indiana could go out with a very similar game plan, execute similarly, and beat OKC in game 2. I think both teams came out with a good game plan. Neither team really executed their game plan to perfection. And then it came down to one play at the end of the game. And Tyrese Haliburton made that play and deserves all the credit in the world for doing it. And I think you get even more credit when you do it when you don't have it going, when you're not in the rhythm, when you haven't had a good game, and you're still able to step up and make that shot. So credit to Tyrese Haliburton. Credit to the Indiana Pacers. And this is a I hope the rest of the series is like this, man. I hope the rest of the series
Ron was sure. I came back to the screen. Ron had no shirt on. This was a great game, man. This was a great game. Like, I think you were 100% right about the game plan. I think OKC carried out the game plan pretty well. I mean, I think they can play a lot better. I think Chet can be a lot better. I think J-Dub can be a lot better. But as far as defensively, they were getting all the turnovers they wanted. Their transition offense does have to be better. I think iHeart played really well, and in the moments that he had, just rebounding, finishing around the rim. He had that one play where he like faked a DHO and then drove to the rim and finished. That was really cool to see from him. So iHeart, yeah, because we came into this series. I think both of us came into this series thinking iHeart wouldn't be able to play as much just because of the speed of the game. And he responded. He didn't let the coming off the bench stuff get to his head, and he played well. I think you hit the nail on the head where you said OKC seems like this mentally tough team, and there is a world where game 2 they're probably going to blow the doors off of Indiana, or Indiana could win because that first half was extremely uncharacteristic. Like OKC was making Indiana look like just extremely rattled and not the offense that we've known Indiana to be for majority of the season. So I think even the Thunder, like a lot of people were saying the Pacers with J-Dub shooting the way he is, with Chet playing the way he is, with SGA having a bad game, quotation mark, that they should get this game. With the Thunder, you get this Pacers team to have 19 turnovers in the first half. This should be a game you should want to win, because I don't know how many games you're going to get where the Pacers are going to have this much turnovers in the first half alone. You go into the halftime and it's a 12-point game. If you are the Thunder and you have forced 19 turnovers, you shouldn't be okay with it being a 12-point game. This should be a 20-point game, especially with how dominant the Thunder have been defensively. And the defensive scheme I think was fine. Like I think they were bringing a lot of physicality to Hallie, Siakam, Nesmith. They were forcing Nesmith to make decisions, Miles Turner to make decisions. There was a lot of moments where Turner just had it in the middle of the floor and he was being swarmed by 3 or 4 players. And it's like, as soon as the ball is in the air, OKC makes the proper adjustment and they're just right there. There were multiple possessions where the Pacers were just trying to get separation in the pick and roll, and Lou Dort was navigating screens so well to where they just could not create an advantage consistently. Some of the passes were just way slower than OKC's used to. OKC is one of the best swarming teams, or the best swarming team in the league. You're going to have to make decisions faster. You're going to have to make your passes faster. You're going to have to get the ball down low quicker because they're going to swarm to the ball. So once again, both of these teams have really good game plans, and the Pacers shooting the ball the way they did, I don't think it's uncharacteristic uncharacteristic to say that they can continue shooting like this. I mean, they shot 46% from three. Sounds crazy, but it's
I
like
mean, a lot of
these
that was in the
have been,
fourth. They didn't start off that amazing. The fourth
yeah,
really did bring that percentage up
yeah. I
a
mean,
lot.
Obi Toppin 5 for 8. Like Nimhar was 2 for 6, but I think his 2 threes were in the fourth or late in the third and in the fourth. Tyrese Haliburton was 2 for 7. Like this, they could shoot a lot better. Neesmith was 3 for 7. I think he had a really big three in the fourth. Like, yeah, this is going to be a fantastic series. Shea had 38. He was 14 for 30, but I think Shea played well. I think he was getting to the rim
I think Shea was great.
consistently.
Yeah, I think Shea
Yeah,
was great.
like I think Shea was great. Like people are going to look at the 14 for 30 and say, "Oh, he didn't play well." Like they were trying to paint this narrative like, "Oh, he's 6 for 15." But when you're watching him outside of the threes, like I didn't love the threes.
There was one he missed crazy
Really
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think it was just like step back, side of the backboard, or just all backboard. But outside of the threes, I think he was getting to where he wanted consistently. He was really good in the mid range. He was collapsing the defense. It's just about Dub hitting more shots. Case and Wallace had some really good looks. If they knock those down, maybe this offense, maybe this game plays out a little differently. But we are in for a series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Shea's going to be the talking point. He missed that big shot that before Haliburton, so they're going to be like, "Oh my god, Shea!" Blah blah. I think Shea was great. I think you live with that look from Shea 10 times out of 10.
Yeah,
Make or miss, I think that was a good look. Now, obviously, if you're Shea, you got to make that shot. Obviously, it goes without saying. But if I'm OKC, there's 3 people I'm looking at. One is my all-star, all-NBA player in J-Dub. One is my DPOY 7'1" unicorn in Chet Holmgren. And the other one is my better than Andrew Nemhard starting guard in Case and Wallace. Those 3, I think, were all bad. I'm gonna go in reverse order from least bad to the most bad. So I'm gonna start with J-Dub. J-Dub, I think I don't understand how I can see someone miss the rim on this many layups. I don't understand it. I think the issue I have with J-Dub is I think defensively he's amazing and he does so many things for OKC that his floor as a player, he's always going to bring a baseline level of value just because of what he brings on the other side of the ball, to where the offense it can be supplemented with his defense, which is what makes him so valuable as a second option or whatever you want to define him as. But offensively, you get these games where you see the limitations, and it just is concerning because some of the limitations aren't things that I think can just be worked on. I think some of them are physical limitations. He just doesn't have that level of agility and wiggle to get by defenders routinely and get all the way to the rim. So you see him trying to finish with like extended finishes or finish with touch over defenders, and the touch just comes and goes. So like you end up with that level of concern. And I don't think he has that level of strength to where he could just will his way downhill. So you end up seeing him settle for these jumpers that are probably, maybe even if it's 2 or 3 feet away from where he wanted it, that makes the world of difference. And you end up getting, like, in the Denver series, he had like 4 of these games where he just couldn't score. And he's had one again tonight. And it's like, if you're OKC, knowing how inconsistent the pieces around Shea can be, J-Dub has to just offer a level of consistency better than what he does right now. But I still don't think he was the biggest criminal. On to criminal number 2, Case and Wallace. I like the level of compete defensively in the second half. I think that was nice. But in the first half, he was being picked on. You could see he just doesn't have the physicality, the size to deal with the cross matches that Indiana force. And that's not really a him problem. I understood starting him. I definitely understood taking Isaiah Hartenstein out. Now, as everyone knows, I would have gone with Caruso. But he went with Case and Wallace. I understood it. But offensively, too many times I'm watching him drive without a plan. Too many times I'm watching him miss wide open shots. I think he made 3 shots. I think 2 of them came off like breakdowns on defense from Tyrese Haliburton. He ended up getting wide open layups. Like offensively, he was a non-factor. That's what he was. He was a non-factor on offense. And he was out there for 33 minutes. I feel like you can't be out there for that long and be a complete non-factor in offense. But criminal number 3.
Talk about it.
Chet Holmgren. Anyone who watches me over here, anyone who watches me on PC, anyone who knows me, I think Chet Holmgren is an amazing player. But what he did tonight was unacceptable. Defensively, wasn't great. Wasn't terrible, but wasn't great. But offensively, missing bunnies at the rim. Can't finish over contact. No ability to take advantage of Miles Turner. We thought there was going to be a quickness advantage there with him at the 5. That wasn't. He was 2. I didn't even know he was 2 for 9. 2 for 9. And that's practically all within the paint. He only took 1 3. He only played 23 minutes tonight, and there's a reason for that. And I don't blame Mark Daigneault. Some people are like, why wasn't Chet in the game down the stretch? Because he wasn't doing anything on offense. That was the reason. The advantage of having Chet, in theory, was that you could go 5 out, have elite spacing, guys who can attack closeouts, play off the bounce, and you still have a 7'1" big who can anchor the paint. But when Chet's not doing all of those things that he's meant to do on offense, you end up just having someone who can anchor the paint on defense, and you have him and Kaysen out there who are doing nothing on offense. That hurts the team. Criminal number 4, AJ Mitchell.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is he in the game?
AJ Mitchell. You know what? Half and half criminal. AJ Mitchell and Mark Daigneault for thinking AJ Mitchell was the answer in game 1 of the finals.
I literally just have AJ Mitchell minutes ? In my notes.
Yeah, I don't understand what the rationale was for going with your rookie AJ Mitchell, who's seen sporadic minutes throughout the playoffs, who only just came back from injury, like not too long before the regular season ended, and throwing him out there in game 1 of the NBA Finals. And yes, he was bad. But why was he out there?
Yeah.
I don't know why he was out there. And I'm questioning Mark Daigneault. Mark Daigneault and his coaching staff for deciding that AJ Mitchell was the answer today. I don't agree with that rationale. With that all being said, Lu Dort, amazing game. Absolutely amazing game.
Fantastic game.
Defensively, causing havoc, crashing the offensive glass in the first quarter was huge. Really set the tempo of the game, in my opinion. One thing I will say about Lu Dort, and I'm guilty of this, is I think he's really improved this year as an off-ball defender. Before, a couple years ago, last year even, Lu Dort was this elite point of attack guy who wasn't the best off the ball, could get caught unaware, wouldn't make great rotations, would never really get in and rebounds. But this year, he's really taken a leap as this off-ball guy, more aware. The block he got in the 4th was amazing on Nesmith.
Yeah.
Playing vertical, catching the ball at its apex. Amazing defense. So Lu Dort, amazing. Shea, amazing. Caruso, I think, had a really good game, particularly defensively. Offensively, started off strong. The 3-point shot wasn't there for the whole game. That's unfortunate. You need more consistent shooting from everyone outside of Lu Dort and Shea, to be honest. I think Isaiah Joe gave some nice minutes, competed defensively, made a 3. I think Isaiah Joe was nice. If I'm being honest, I think OKC had 4 players who played badly, and one of them was AJ Mitchell, who played 4 minutes. So they had 3 guys who played badly. The issue is 3 of them were their 5. It was 3 of their 5 starters.
Yeah,
that's the issue. And 2 of them played over 30 minutes. That can't happen in game 2. And then over to Indiana. I'm gonna start with, obviously, we've given Tyrese Haliburton all the flowers we can give him. Who do I want to go to? I want to start with, I think, Pascal Siakam on the offensive glass. There was one play, I can't remember who shot the 3. I think it was Nesmith. And I think Chet blocked it right at the buzzer. And then Pascal caught it and went right up with it. And on a possession that should have been empty, they ended up getting 2 points.
Yeah.
And there was it happened quite a few times today where Pascal Siakam just happened to be there, cleaning up, giving his team a second chance. And that was huge, because in a game where they turned the ball over that much, in a game where they won the game, but so many possessions, even the ones they scored on, just seemed like a struggle.
Exactly.
It seemed like a struggle to score, but Pascal was just always there at the right time, just giving his team an extra opportunity or being that release valve. And Pascal deserves a lot of credit for that, even though I don't think he had his greatest game, but he deserves a lot of credit for that, just being the guy that seemed to always be there right when the possession seemed dead. Miles Turner in the fourth. Miles Turner in the
shot
fourth
making
was huge. Miles Turner in the fourth was huge. The shots he made, just timely shots. I think he had like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds as well. Just him and Pascal just were huge. Then Nemhard, that step back 3 on Shea.
fantastic.
I think that cut to it made it a 4-point game, 3-point game maybe when he made that.
It was a 3-point game. It made it a 3. It made it.
I think he made it a 3-point game. I think.
Yeah, it was a 3-point game because I think the very next possession, Pascal had that rebound and he went back up.
And it made 3-point game. Thank you, chat. 3-point game. That was huge. Obi Toppin started the game, looked shaky, bad decisions, looked sped up. Then he got into the game. 5 made threes from Obi Toppin. Timely threes. Every three felt like a backbreaker. Pause. Like end of the clock, they find Obi, cash. Above the break 3, Obi Toppin, when it looked like the possession was over, cash. Making 5 of those was huge. TJ McConnell, like,
he got so weird. He got some.
Yeah, he's so weird because he doesn't shoot the 3. He actually made a 3, but because he doesn't shoot the 3, and you play off of him, he's always attacking you. That like, because you play on the back foot when you guard TJ McConnell. I think this is the mistake teams make. Because he doesn't shoot, teams play on the back foot, so they play backpedaling against him, and he just uses that to eat up grounds and get in the paint. And yes, I think he could have been better in terms of some decisions he made. Sometimes the length bothered him, and he committed some turnovers that probably a bigger guard wouldn't commit. But the fact that he was so relentless downhill, constantly getting into the paint, was just so valuable. And then he's making these like 6-foot jump shots. Like TJ McConnell was amazing. Well, I mean, TJ McConnell was good. Miles Turner was amazing in the 4th. Pascal Siakam was nice. Nesmith made a couple huge threes. Haliburton made the biggest shot of the game. But like, I don't think the Pacers played that well.
Yeah, I don't
want us to be offended when I say that. I think that's commendable. Before this series started, I thought if the Pacers wanted to win games, let alone the series, games, they had to play amazing. And OKC had to play mid or bad. The fact that the Pacers got a win in a game I don't think they played well is the ultimate confidence booster. They go into game 2, in my opinion, after playing a poor game 1 and being up 1-0 on OKC. That's amazing. So if I'm Indiana, like, this might sound counterintuitive. Winning by 1 in a game you played poorly gives me more confidence than if they won by 1 in a game they played great. Like, they didn't play well. They barely won, but I'm more confident now because I know they can easily play better than this.
Yeah, because how realistic? Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's it.
How realistic is them getting 19 turnovers in the first half? Like, yes, the Thunder are a fantastic defense, one of the greatest of all time, but the Pacers are one of the teams where they take care of the ball the most in the league. I think they're 3rd in turnover percentage in the playoffs.
It's OKC, New York, and Indiana, I think, the least turnover.
Like they take care of the ball. They're one of the best transition offenses. They make threes. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the league. They have 6 guys shooting over 35 to 37% from 3, like 6 guys that they can count on consistently to make threes. Aaron Nesmith, Tyrese Haliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Pascal Siakam. These guys are making threes constantly, and the more they got paint touches, the more they were able to knock down these open threes. It happened in the second half. Like in the first half, they were struggling to get paint touches. They were struggling to get the ball within the teeth of the defense, and they were doing that a lot more in the second half, which opened up a lot more threes, which what kept them in the game, because OKC would, they're up 12 points. They build this 12-point lead, and then the Indiana Pacers knock down back-to-back threes, and it's a 6-point game again. That really felt like majority of the second half, to where you guys should be building a bigger lead than this to make sure this game is secure, but the Pacers just stayed in it to the point where the Thunder had a cold stretch offensively where they couldn't knock down a lot of shots, and the Pacers kept building those looks, and they started finding a rhythm from 3 and just in the half-court offense in general. So Yeah, winning a game like this where you don't play well, and after like the first couple of minutes, I thought this game was going to be a blowout. It was like a 7-1 game. I'm like, oh, this is going to be ugly, man, because I really want this series to be really good. Like, I think this has potential to be a really good series just because I think the Pacers have not been getting a lot of respect when getting compared to OKC, because even people are saying like it doesn't matter who wins the Eastern Conference Finals, they're just going to get blitzed by OKC. I think this is probably the best outcome for game one we could have gotten as fans, because a lot of people coming into the series is like, this is going to be a wash, and not a lot of casual fans really care about the Pacers. Like, I'm sure a lot of casual fans would have much rather saw the Knicks play against the Timberwolves, because you got Jalen Brunson in the Knicks, and then you got Michael Jordan's son and Anthony Edwards, and Cat going back to Minnesota, and Julius Randle going back to New York. But as fans, I think this was the perfect final series, and it's going to have a lot of eyes drawn back to small market teams and just paying attention to a lot of these guys when they're coming up. I mean, this is really good for the NBA. This is really good for the NBA, and this was a fantastic game one.
Before we get to Super Chats, I just got to ask. I'm going to ask this after every game. Before the series, we both picked OKC in 5. Now, obviously, in order for us to be right, OKC have to win the next 4. So, how do you feel about that prediction? After game one, how do you feel about that prediction?
I would say I still think there's a world where OKC can win the next 4 games. I still think there's a world where OKC can win the next 4 games. Would I pick it now? No, I wouldn't pick it now. I would pick OKC in 6. Like, that's where I'm at, because it's like the Pacers have very good home court advantage as well. So I don't think the Thunder. I wouldn't bet the Thunder win both games in Indiana. But I also wouldn't bet that they wouldn't win 4 games in a row, just because I see the avenue with their transition offense is not going to be this bad again. I don't think it's going to be this bad again. I do think there's a world where Chet can play a lot better. Same with J-Dub. But now, do I trust the fact that Chet and J-Dub are going to be better offensively, or do I trust that the Pacers are going to be able to play a better full 48 minutes of offense in game 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe even 6? Like, the Pacers are going to get really good looks. They're going to process the game well. I think you're going to get a better game from Hallie. I think you're going to get a better game from Siakam. They're going to get a magnet ball game. They're going to get one. It's like they got one every single series. So I don't know if I would I don't know if I would still stick with Thunder in 5.
I would. And the reason was, I think in the way I spoke about this series, I think most people could fit. The Pacers winning game 1 was the game I had them winning. Now, did I expect it in this fashion? No. And during this game, did I think that was going to happen? No. I thought, once this game unfolded, I was watching in the 3rd and the early 4th. I was like, okay, well, OKC in 5 is cool, but I don't think the Pacers got this one. But now they did get it. We're here now. Game 1 was the game I thought, because I say this all the time. As fans, I understand it because a lot of people are fans. So it's like you see a team win, it's like, oh my God, the series is over, blah, blah, blah. So like when someone picks a series in 6 and then the team they pick to win in 6 loses game 1, everyone's like, oh my God. It's like, well, I picked the team to lose 2 games. Like, so at some point they had to lose in order for the prediction to come true. But every time you pick the team to win in anything less than a sweep, in anything more than a sweep, and then they lose a game, it's like it's the end of the world. No, I don't think so. I don't think if I was a betting man, I wouldn't put money on OKC in 5, just watching how the Pacers wave. Because my anticipation was the Pacers came out and played an excellent game and won game 1. Not the Pacers played a mid game and still won game 1. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I saw this coming. I absolutely did not see it unfolding this way. I just thought the Pacers would come out on top in game 1. But watching now that the Pacers have the ability to win a game in which they play poorly, that's the concern I have in terms of my prediction pre-series. But I'm not going to switch it up. I do think there is an avenue for OKC to still win the next 4. I don't think there's an avenue for like Indiana to win 3 of the next 4. I don't think that's really possible. And I think Shea's unguardable. Like Indiana is doing their regular coverage that they do on Superstars, where they kind of just like let him cook, kind of thing. Shea in the pick and roll, so poised, bringing Hallie into the action. He's trying to hedge and recover, but Shai's rejecting it every time, or he's splitting it. Like, Shai's amazing. There's no other takeaway from this game other than Shai's amazing. I think Shai was great. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the prediction. But if I'm a Pacers fan, I'll definitely be victory lapping right now. If I'm Ron, no, Ron's not a Pacers fan. He don't get to do that now.
Yeah, Ron was shirtless.
Yeah, but Pacers fans, like legitimate Pacers fans, like if you're victory lapping right now, if you're a Pacers fan and you're mad at me, go ahead and victory lap. There is one Pacers fan who I keep reading his comments because he keeps calling me a hater. I can't remember his name though, but there is a Pacers fan who, like, he'd be in the PC comments, he'd be in the comments of this pod calling me a hater, calling us haters for picking against the Pacers, because we picked against them against the Cavs and I picked against them against the Bucks. Even though if you listen to me, I practically picked the Pacers in all ways, but picking the Pacers. But Pacers fans, go ahead and victory lap because I think this is a huge win for you guys, and I'd be fully confident if I was a Pacers fan. As a neutral, I just look at it, I'm like, I still think OKC is the better team, but the better team can lose a series, and I've seen the better team lose series. I'm not one who subscribes to the belief that the better team always wins a series. I think you can be the better team and lose. I think that's entirely possible, and that never takes away credit from the team that wins. You still get full credit. If Indiana win a championship, they're not going to care that I think OKC is a better team than them, nor should they, nor should Pacers fans. Nor should I. It doesn't matter that I think OKC is better than Indiana. Indiana will have a championship. OKC can have the "they were the better team" banner, I guess, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you win. So that's all I have to say about game one so far. Is there anything you want to add before we get into super chats?
Fantastic game. That's all I gotta say.
I agree. Pimp named Slickback sent a super chat. He said Ron is going to be peak insufferability tomorrow. I mean, based on what I heard about what he was doing on playback, I'm looking forward to
that.
Tomorrow.
Was funny as hell.
Someone's probably already clipped it.
Yeah, it's on Penn's Twitter.
Yeah, okay. If it's on Penn's Twitter, I'll find it. Gonna be interesting. Terry with two dads said it didn't make sense to me. The turnover numbers were lopsided, yet the score wasn't. What the hell? Yet I've been a big pusher of the possession battle was at the key in these playoffs, and this game kind of just like went against all of that. OKC took 16 more shots and 3 more free throws and lost. OKC had 6 turnovers. Indiana had 24. Indiana had 13 offensive rebounds. OKC had 10. So the possession battle was overwhelmingly won by OKC, and they still lost the game. Now, some of that can be chalked up to the fact that the Pacers made 7 more threes. But one thing I always say, like, people, because I've seen Swiper do this, and this is not a straight up Swiper, but I've seen him do this. Swiper will say, because he uses this to explain why Denver have lost some games. He'll be like, Denver only made 5 threes. Insert team Denver just lost to, made 15. That's a 30-point swing. No, it's not. Because if Denver are making 2s instead of 3s, it's not a 30-point swing, it's a 10-point swing. Because that's 15 made shots, 15 made 3s versus 5 made 3s and 10 made 2s. Because you still made the same amount of shots, you just made less 3s. It's a 10-point swing, not a 30-point swing. So just because a team make, like, for example, Indiana made 7 more 3s today, that's not a 21-point swing. That's not how that works. Because OKC just made 2s to supplement the 3s. So it's really a 7-point swing because they made the same amount of field goals. So, like, that's just a pet peeve of mine. But Indiana did make more 3s, and they were just more effective scoring. And a lot of that, in my opinion, I think Indiana did a good job swarming on drives, collapsing, and contesting vertical. I think that was a huge deal. But some of it is also just like the Thunder just have to be better. Like, it really is that simple. The Thunder have to be better, and I think they know that. But once again, full credit to the Pacers. Coded Ice said, is this an overreaction? Because remember, Denver won game 1. They won game 1 in similar fashion. Aaron Gordon threw.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying they will beat OKC in the series, like now with the Pacers. I mean, yeah, I think it's natural. That's why I am running the poll. I'm actually interested to see what the results of the poll is that I'm running right now, because I started the poll right at the beginning of the show. Who is going to win the series now? Because I remember when I first did the poll last week, when I did the poll last week, it was overwhelming. It was like 88% for OKC. Now we're at 60% for OKC. So OKC is still the favorites, as expected. But the rate has gone down drastically.
Yeah.
And I think that's just natural. Once again, I never blame fans for being fans. Like, be reactive. That's cool. And I say that like I group myself away from fans. It's like I'm a fan of the sport, but like my job here is to try and be objective, to analyze what's going on. So like I try to keep my fandom out of it. Now, obviously, I have my own biases that exist, absolutely. But like, I'm never gonna blame a fan for reacting to a team winning a game and then saying the series is over. Like, I'm never gonna blame a fan for that. Go do that. That's your prerogative.
Yeah.
But me trying to be objective, no. If OKC won game one, would I have been saying, "Oh yeah, the series is over"? Maybe. I ain't gonna lie to you. Maybe. But like, I just think it is what it is. But I do think there is an overreaction happening. But I think there's always going to be an overreaction happening.
In dramatic fashion like this, there's definitely going to be.
Absolutely, and you're going to see the biggest one from Ron tomorrow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna get
and you're going to enjoy it. So
yeah.
Who cares? Kendrick sent a couple. He said, "I feel bad for Ratings FC for missing Elite Hoops." Yeah, ratings discourse is so disgraceful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was someone on Twitter talking about, oh, what's good on TV? Mind you, I think she covers the NBA like regularly. So she was on Twitter saying, what's good on TV tonight? Then when the game's over, what a game. You probably only watched the third and you probably only watched the fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, man, I'll never understand it. Because good basketball is good basketball. It doesn't matter who's playing, in my opinion. If it's good basketball being played, I'm gonna watch. And I feel like people just, because it's like OKC is damn near the team that a lot of these teams were begging for to start the season. You have a guard that plays in the mid range. You have an elite defense. You run double big lineups. Like even the Braids are back. Like you got you got Nimhard and SGA. The Braids are back. Like you. I don't know. I don't think people really like basketball for real. Like some people just like to hear themselves talk. Some people just like to hear themselves talk. Some people just want to have an opinion. Some people just want to be right. I think that's a lot of the problem with the discourse in the NBA, because not to talk about the NFL, but if the Super Bowl was the Ravens and Lions, like the Ravens and Lions are two small market NFL teams. But just like the Thunder, the Ravens had an MVP in Lamar Jackson, and the Thunder have one of the best offenses we've seen throughout the entire season. Like they would have ate that up in the NFL. The NFL would have had no problem promoting that. But because it's the NBA and people are so in love with LeBron James and Michael Jordan and all these guys and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, which rightfully so, which you got to understand, like, we're in a new era of basketball. Factually, there's never going to be another LeBron James, Steph Curry NBA Finals again, because both of them, I think, are going to retire in the West. But I just don't think, I think that era is like, we had to appreciate what we watched, and it's time to move on, because it's like,
man, they were hating when that was happening too. Like,
right. And it's like, what are we remembering from those finals? Like the 2016 finals, majority of it was blowouts. And then game 7 was a historic game. And then 2017, blowouts. Even the game the Cavs won was a blowout. 2018, we actually had a really good game 1 in 2018, and I think game 3, game 3 was really good as well. But there was never a doubt in my mind that the Warriors were going to lose more than one game in that series. So I don't know what people really be remembering, because I really enjoy this, not knowing 100% who's going to win every single year. I really appreciate that. So
I just think basketball's in a great place, and I think all this talk about ratings and the All-Star game and whatever the case may be, I think is taken away from the fact that the game is amazing, and the fact that for over a year now, the talking points have been every team plays the same. There's no real superstars, and who's the next face of the league takes away from the fact that the sport is in a great place, and it's been ignored to let those conversations take precedent. And it's disappointing, but I mean, I can't say I'm not part of the problem. I've definitely contributed with some of my antics, so I'm no better. What can I say? But Kendrick said forcing 24 turnovers and still losing is nasty work. really
Yes, it
nasty
is.
work. But
Yes, it is.
I think a big part of that, like I said, is a lot of those turnovers in the first half weren't live ball turnovers. That's part one. And then part two, the Pacers, when they did commit live ball turnovers, really good job of getting back and stopping OKC from getting out and getting easy ones. So it made the turnovers more tolerable, which I think the Pacers deserve credit for not letting their mistakes get compounded by giving easy runouts. So that's why the 24 turnovers weren't as detrimental as it normally would be. Trayvon Ray said 11 points off 24 turnovers. Yep. OKC has to clean up the transition offense, as weird as it is to say. Also, pretty crazy how one shot changes narratives. Hallie was a role player in that fourth until 0.3. Yeah, he was playing off the ball, and Nemhard was the one bringing the ball up, running the offense. And that was because, once again, I don't think Haliburton had a good game. But at the end of the day, I think Haliburton would rather have the game he just had with the win than have a great game and lose. So I don't think Haliburton cares. But once again, this is me not trying to speak as a fan and just trying to speak as someone analyzing the game. Haliburton didn't play well. But that's a good thing when you're still able to win when Haliburton doesn't play well. So, the bright side, if Haliburton does play well, maybe you can win again. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think Haliburton had a good game. I just don't think it matters. Not in the grand scheme of winning a championship, but in terms of how good Haliburton is, it absolutely matters that he didn't have a good game. But we're going to hit the top 10 talks now. But
yeah, I don't know if you've seen the Ringer's top 100.
Don't talk to me about that. I've seen Joel Embiid in the 80s.
Hallie's already a top 10 player, and
it was he 7, Mitchell 8, Brunson 9?
Yes, and they're all above Tatum. Ant 6, Steph 5, Ant 6, Hallie 7, D Mitch 8, Brunson 9, Tatum 10.
Yeah, no comment.
Kevin Durant is all the way at 14. Like
Pimp named Slipback said, Mars, you have some nerve to call someone a bandwagon. I don't think I did that. Oh no, Ron. Oh, I mean, I guess, but like the thing about me, right, is I am just a fan of basketball. Like I'll just watch teams to watch teams. Like the joke of me being like, oh, Rockets fan, Blazers fan, OKC fans. Like, yeah, I just watch all these teams a lot. But I don't know if it can be called bandwagoning when you leave the NBA champions to go root for the 20-win team. Like, I don't think that can be called bandwagoning. I'm sorry. That doesn't add up to me. Like, maybe it's reverse bandwagoning or I don't know. But leaving the team that just won a championship to go root for the team that finished bottom of the same conference doesn't fit the definition of bandwagon, in my opinion. But I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
It's kind of, I'm not going to make this about being a Laker fan because I get it. The Lakers fans are spoiled. I'm not even going to go there because even though I am like relatively on the younger side, I've still seen 2 championships as a Laker fan, and the best player in the league at the time, in my opinion, came to my team, and then we got dropped a 25-year-old phenom. So I'm not even going to go there.
Mart said, stop saying Chet's better than Paolo. It's not close. I mean, offensively, I think Paolo is the clearly better player, but just overall impact, I still could make the case for Chet. But I mean, it's hard because like the offense does speak a lot, and being an advantage creator is probably the most valuable thing that you can be in the NBA. And I think Paolo is an advantage creator in a way that Chet isn't. So I'm definitely not going to push back too much on that. Avery B said, salute my guys, good hoop talks and great hoops. Amazing.
Appreciate you, Avery. Appreciate you, Brody.
Shout out to Avery for sure. And then final super chat from Trayvon Ray said, also, J-Dub's speed is a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it looks like he just throws up BS at full speed. Side note, Ratings FC said 2021 was going to be trash and Giannis made history every game. Yeah, I think J-Dub just, because you can see J-Dub is like, he's a de facto Shea. Like, especially when Shea's off the court, he just takes, like, his usage and role is just basically Shea 2.0.
Yeah.
Spread high pick and roll, isolate, get to the mid-range, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't have the athletic profile that Shea has. He can't do what Shea does. So the shot quality just decreases. And that's why you have games where he'll go 6 for 19, 3 for 20, 5 for 18. It's just like, it's tough, but I don't think it's something that's really going to improve in the sense that his physical limitations are still going to be there, whether he's more experienced or not. It's just about, can he refine the jump shot, and can he maybe get stronger to where he can use strength as opposed to trying to use length to finish. That's the two biggest keys for him, in my opinion. And then one more right at the buzzer, Tyrese Haliburton. Be True 23 said, I'm not worried about OKC, but I do believe Hartenstein playing slightly more and probably swapping Kaysen and Caruso's minutes is the way to go. Absolutely agree with the Caruso and Kaysen point. And yeah, Hartenstein, if he can play like he did tonight, then I'll hold my hands up. My bad. I misread the situation. Hartenstein was great tonight. I was definitely pessimistic on how he would cope with Indiana's movement. But the moment he checked in, I watched him chase TJ McConnell under the rim and then deflect a pass and then close out to the corner. I was like, oh, okay. If that's what Hartenstein's doing, you can play. Like, I don't know to tell you, you can definitely play. And then, I'm watching him fake a handoff, get to the rim. He may have fumbled it a little bit, but he got to the rim and then finished. So if he can do that, then, and Chet's playing how he played, Hartenstein minutes could be the way to go for sure. So full credit to Isaiah Hartenstein. But ultimately, OKC do drop game one at home. Indiana take control of the series in theory. And I know Pacers fans are excited, and I know I'm excited for what potentially could be a fantastic series. But that's really all we have today. Game 2 is Sunday. We will be live again right after game 2. We'll see what the score is in the series. John D, where can everyone find you? All of that amazing stuff.
You guys can find me over at the Buzzer Sports, where we have started a little bit more of 2K gaming, which is very, very fun. I swapped Tyrese Haliburton and SGA teams, and both of them were averaging 30. You know, that was very exciting. We also got some draft content because that's speeding up. You're going to get a film breakdown of the Pacers and Thunder game 1 in the morning. So I'm not going to sleep anytime soon.
Oh, damn.
Okay. So, yeah, man, at the Buzzer Sports, where we post daily, at minimum 5 times a week, regularly 6 times a week, reactions, gaming, film breakdowns, takes, reactions to people's lists like the Ringers Top 100, which you should be getting sometime this week. Also, we started a Brooklyn Nets My GM series that episode 2 is going to be coming out sometime this week. So at the Buzzer Sports, man, all things basketball, whatever you like throughout basketball, we got it. Even some WNBA content coming soon.
Damn, yeah, you be grinding. You're lucky that we're getting multiple pods a week now for the finals. But yeah, obviously Players' Choice tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Run's going to be unbearable. But thank you guys for watching. We had about 400 people in here. So shout out to you guys for showing love. I'm not going to say it's going to motivate me to do this more consistently. It's not. But shout out to you guys regardless. And then we will see you on Sunday after game 2. And goodbye, Deb. There we go.